It is our first Thompson to Clark of 2026. Brad and Double G
Wow.
are here. And Brad, I don't know if you can hear that. It doesn't sound like much. It sounds like silence to me. This is the Giants offseason so far. The
It's
quiet,
Simon and Garfunkel's Sounds of Silence, right? Is that what's going
Yeah.
on this season?
the silence is deafening at the moves that the Giants are making here. They're making a couple moves, but I don't think the fans are too excited about this offseason yet, though. So many players are still unsigned. All the big ones, I guess, except for Edwin Diaz, all the big ones are still out there. So we'll talk about that in a second. But before that, we have some NFL playoffs going on.
Yeah, that's.
Right.
I mean, this is the season for like everything, right? I mean, it's January. Everybody go, after the holidays, things slow down. No. We got NFL playoffs. We have MLB free agency still happening. We've got NHL. We've got
the Sharks
soccer.
Are actually halfway decent.
Yeah, and I'm a Golden Knights fan, but it's fun to see because when there's no Golden Knights game on here in Reno, we do get the Sharks games on NBC Sports Bay Area, so we get to watch those, which is cool. Or California, I'm not sure exactly which channel they're on, but either way, I get to watch those, and then you've got soccer's in full swing, Premier League, all the big leagues are still happening. And then we've got college football playoffs, Thursday night and Friday night. So yeah, I mean,
where are we at in the college football playoff?
2 games to get to the championship game. So I think you've got Miami and Ole Miss tomorrow night, right? I did have ESPN up earlier. That's the only time I ever go to ESPN, when I need to see like a schedule. Yeah, you got Miami and Ole Miss tomorrow night, and then Friday night you got Oregon and Indiana. And winners of those games are in the national championship game. So the national championship game is either going to have Ole Miss or Miami. I mean, say that 5 years ago, that wasn't happening.
Is the U back?
The U is back, and Michael Irvin is having a really good time with it, man. He's showing up to every game. He's on the sideline. He took his shirt off at the end of the last game when they upset. I can't remember who they played, but ripped his shirt off after the game, was running around and hugging the players like he played in the game. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, what is a 50-some-odd-year-old Michael Irvin's upper body looking like these days?
Yeah, I mean, he looked pretty good.
Oh,
he looked pretty good.
Go.
Yeah.
And then I would have taken my shirt off too.
Yeah. I couldn't knock him, but I was like, I don't remember him playing in this game tonight.
The reason why I asked you about the NFL playoffs, we're going to talk about Giants, but the rare occasion, actually it hasn't been rare of late, that both the Rams and the 49ers are in the playoffs. Yeah. Somehow we ended up as the 5 and the 6 seed. But luckily for you guys had the upper hand, and you get to go into Carolina and face the was Carolina even 500 this year?
No, they were 8-9. So they finished 8-9. Tampa Bay finished 8-9, and the Falcons finished 8-9. And because of various robot AI tiebreakers, Carolina was the winner of that division. And then the other 2 teams stayed home, which they should, because when you're 8-9, I don't even think you should win the division at 8-9. I feel like they should just default that division and say, no, I'm sorry, none of you get to go, because you got to be 500 or above at least. But
you guys get a nice little revenge game here in the first round of the wild card playoffs against the Panthers. And then the Niners have to go into Philly and face. It's not like the Eagles are world beaters this year. They had a pretty, I mean, they were 11-5 or 11-6, or whatever their record was, 12-5. I think Eagles fans probably felt like, that they weren't too invested in killing it in the regular season, but they are the defending Super Bowl champions, and they play a style of football which probably not great for the Niners. But the Niners, gosh, they've had so many injuries, and my expectations were fairly low all season long. So I've just been happy with their record and with how they've been able to win some of these games. So I do not expect them to win. Rod and I did a preview last night on the feed and we're both pretty realistic Niner fans. We're not the rah Niner fan. And I think we both kind of hope that the Niners play close. And if we were betting, we'd probably bet on the Eagles. But if the Niners keep it close, then anything can happen at the end. But
go ahead. Speaking of that, I'm not sure how anybody can get to our age, right? Following sports for as many years as we have, following our teams. I'm not sure how you could be at this age and be a rah-rah follower of your team. You know what I mean? I'm not sure that's even possible. Like I look at all the teams that I follow and like the Rams going into Carolina. Sure, they should win that game. Am I confident? No, because they went in there and lost last time, and they have a great secondary, and our strength is our passing game. So, so many things can happen when you're talking about football or any sport for that matter.
Well, so you're telling me that if the Rams win on Saturday, you're not taking your shirt off and running around the house.
Well, I'm not saying that. There's a possibility. I will be yelling. It's funny. My father-in-law the other day, he goes, we were out to dinner, and he goes, man, that McVay, that guy, he gets into the game. He goes, not like Shanahan. Shanahan just kind of, he stands there, he's very stoic, and he's a Niner fan, my father-in-law. He goes, but that McVay, he really loves to scream and pump his fist and run around. I said, yeah, you should see me during the game. I said, it's a little bit of the same.
I always said I liked your father-in-law, by the way. Good guy. 49ers.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Shanahan is the opposite. Shanahan expects them to do well, and then when they don't, that's when he gets mad. So.
Yeah. No, McVay will ride the wave throughout the game. He will absolutely. He's got to be exhausted by the time the game is over.
Then he goes home. Players like that too. Then he goes home. Like that about him.
Oh, I'm sure. And then he goes home and he's got a newborn and a 2-year-old. So I don't know how the hell he does it.
Oh man. Yeah, he just crashes out, and the kids. Sorry, his wife, poor lady, she's probably dealing with
or he goes home and just says, "Put the kids on top of me. I'm gonna lay on my back. Just put them on my chest. I'll just whatever happens."
All right, we do have to talk about some Giants baseball here, and I guess let's kick this off with where are you with patience level, frustration, anticipation? Like, are you waking up every day checking your athletic app and going like, okay, did the Giants do anything today? Like, where are you with? Are you just like, this is just what the offseason is going to be? Like, how are you feeling about all this?
Well, number one, I'm not going to go checking an app to see what happened overnight because I have so many alerts that when I wake up in the morning, there's going to be one from ESPN. There's going to be one from Bleacher Report. There's going to be one from our Discord that you run. There's going to be one from there because you've got I think you've got Pavlovich automatic tweets going there, which is great. So we should put on social media where we're at in Discord, but everybody should join because it's a really fun place to be. I do enjoy Discord, I think, more than any other social media at this point, just because it's just a message board. It's a good place to go and just, talk. So, but the key word, the very first word you said was patience.
Yeah.
And that's me right now. Just very patient with the process because, again, when you look at that list of free agents that are still available, there's a lot of good ones. What are the chances we're going to sign one of them? I don't think it's high that we're going to, get Framber Valdez or Suarez. I don't think the chances are very high. Kyle Tucker. I know Toronto's courting him heavily right now. Cody Bellinger. I know the Yankees are hardcore after him as well. But still, there's chances. Look what happened last time we were patient. We got Blake Snell. Mm-hmm. That didn't turn out fantastically, but I shouldn't have used that as an example. But we got Matt Chapman. So that's another way you're patient. You get a Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman decides, I really like it here in San Francisco. I'm going to sign a long-term deal. Mm-hmm. So good things can lead into that. So I don't know. I'm just being very patient right now. As soon as I see big names start to go off the board one after another, I'll start to get a little antsy because I know we're going to talk about our 5-man rotation.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the 5-man rotation, trying to practice, yoga patience right now. It's hard to do. A little worried about that 5-man rotation, a little worried about the pitching depth. I know we have a lot of pitching depth, but we'll talk about what kind of pitching depth we have in a little bit. But yeah, I think patient is the key word right now.
I think my stance is I kind of look at, and it's different for each sport. I fully believe that you expect the Rams to chase some of the bigger players. Maybe they're not going to be the biggest chaser. NFL free agency and the cap is a little bit different, but
right.
You guys are going to spend money on Matt Stafford to keep QB1 around. I'm sure when Puka Nacua comes up for free agency, he's going to get a giant contract.
Yeah, they just extended Quentin Lake, key safety on the team, and they extended Nate Landman. So those types of things happen during the season, and as a Rams fan, I'm excited about that. Then you look at the Giants and you go, where's that? Where's that happening for us? But, I say that, and then we go out and trade for Rafael Devers,
right?
Which, again, Devers, if Devers was a free agent in this offseason, the chance of him coming to us would have been A, slim, and the chance of him going somewhere else would be B, very high. So that's how I kind of look at it. It's like, we got to make those deals. We got to make the trade deals.
And here's what I'm wondering, which is exactly what you just said, is when the Giants are trying to look at the market and they're kind of dipping their toe. And I think Susan Slusser had a report that she didn't say exactly who she talked to, but she mentioned that she talked to some of the agents of the big free agents. And they said, yep, the Giants checked in right at the beginning of free agency, but we haven't heard from them of late. So what I wonder is if the free agent market for just San Francisco and Oracle, there's like a fine, there's like an extra 20 million fine just for the Giants because these hitters don't want to hit here. But on the flip side, you would think that the pitchers would want to pitch here, and they still haven't really been in the mix for the big free agent pitchers outside of Blake Snell coming over because he was kind of out of options. They did get Verlander, but only on a 1 year. So I do wonder if, like, the reason, like, if we could know the reason now. I don't know if Buster would ever say this, that, the realistic expectation of this market is just that the big players don't want to play here. Like, if he said that, that would be really negative and the fans would probably be really upset. But I do wonder how much of it is that, and then how much of it is this unwillingness to spend. And maybe that's related. Like, maybe the Giants front office is like, well, the only way we get these guys is if we pay over market. So thus we're not going to do that. And instead we are going to try and do so through the trade market, like we got Devers. Now, the problem with that is they just don't have the farm system where you can pick and choose, your 7th or 8th best prospect, because the Giants' 7th or 8th best prospect aren't necessarily gems like they are in some of the other farm systems. So I wonder how much of it is that. And I like to be fair and realistic, but at the same time, I'm just thinking, like, man, the Dodgers have won back-to-back World Series titles. Where's the urgency for the Giants to go, hey, man, we have to break that thing up? Like, we can't allow them to keep doing this. Like, this isn't just let's hand the Dodgers the next 3 or 4 titles. Like, we need to get into that space competitively. And I just don't see it. And I know it's kind of unfair in a sense to go, hey, we're going to compare every move we make to whether or not it helps us beat the Dodgers, but they're the World Series champions. You kind of have to look at it like that if you do want to be in that rare air, because the joke that we both made when the Giants signed Adrian Houser and Tyler Mahle was, oh, that'll beat the Dodgers. That'll get us closer to the Dodgers. And it's kind of a backhanded kind of compliment. They are not signed to be the ace of your staff. They are signed to be at the back end of the rotation. But at the same time, it's like, man, let's do something here. Let's make a big splash. Let's get the fans excited, because what I sense right now from Giants fans is they may not be super fired up for the 2026 season, because they just think that this is going to be the same team that lays down against the Dodgers again. And I don't know if that's a great place to be.
Yeah, it's hard because you can't expect the Giants to go out and spend 300 million to 400, 500 million in an offseason and grab 3 or 4 players. It's just not going to happen. And this year's crop of free agency was looked at as kind of like, okay, it's not terrible, but it's honestly not the greatest. When you're looking at free agents, I'm looking at free agents for next year. Some of these guys have opt-outs, but you're looking at Jose Barrios will be out there next year, Chris Sale, Corbin Burns, who we went through that already. Robbie Ray is going to be a free agent. Reek Skubal is going to be a free agent. I mean, Shota Imanaga. So you're looking at a lot of pitching in free agency next season. Sonny Gray, Michael King, he's got an opt-out, even though he just signed back with San Diego. Imai is going to be out there again. You have to see what he does. So I mean, you could look at it too as they're saving a little bit of cash. And again, everybody's going to go, you're on the side of the owners. I'm not. I'm on the side of I want to see a winning baseball team.
Right.
I also know what our situation is. Our situation is our farm system under Farhan took a dump. I mean, that was his claim to fame, is he was going to fix that, right? He was going to bring us back and boost the farm system. It didn't quite happen. But you look at what the Giants are doing. The number 1 international free agent last year was signed by the Giants.
Yeah.
The number 1 free agent, international free agent, about to be signed by the Giants again. Number 4 pick in the draft coming up.
That's
fantastic. A couple of good prospects, brought over during the trade deadline of 2025 in July.
One of those guys may be one of those multiple arms at the back end of the rotation that you were mentioning earlier.
Absolutely. And so when you start to look at the farm system and you go, okay, now we have trade capital, we're gaining trade capital, or we've got guys who are going to help out this club down the line in, the next 1 to 4 years. Giants brass is not going to come out and say we are rebuilding right now. Not when you go out and trade for Devers, not when you've got Logan Webb signed long time and Chapman. When you've got a lot of players, I mean, the Giants have a big payroll, right? As long as you've got those guys on the roster, you can't come out and say we're rebuilding. But we know as Giants fans, we can see it from the outside. This is a building of the farm system, not necessarily a rebuilding, but it's a building. You're trying to build up that farm system. So you do have the capital to say at the trade deadline this year, you know what? We're in the hunt. Let's go get Skubal. Whatever it takes for a half a season of Skubal. It's not going to be enormous, especially because the Tigers, if they're in it last year, or this year, like they were last year, I mean, they went to the playoffs. So he may not even be available. We don't know that, but players like that you can trade for at the trade deadline and then bring them into San Francisco, show them the organization, show them the city, show them the fans, and then that you might have a shot at extending them like we did with Chapman when he came in as a late free agent. So that's kind of how I look at it. You can't, they just can't go out in one off season and all of a sudden grab 2 or 3 players, spend $500,000, and then be neck and neck with the Dodgers. It's just not going to happen. The Dodgers have trade capital. They seem to have an endless amount of trade capital. Anytime they need to trade for a player, they've got, it seems like every top 100 prospect in baseball is a Dodger. So it's kind of frustrating to watch sometimes, but we want to be there. And I think that's what we're kind of building right now.
Yeah. And trading prospects right now for the Giants is not necessarily going to be to their benefit, because if you are a smart baseball team and the Giants want to do anything with you, you go, okay, what about Bryce? What about Joe Swar? And what about Johnny Level? And if you're the Giants, you're like, okay, we're going to stop having these conversations because those are the guys, right? Those are the guys that you hope to be, players who will take the field for the Giants in the next 5 years. So,
yeah, and it's not so much that those are the guys that you're hoping to. Right now, those are the only guys that are anchoring the big names of the farm system. That's the problem. You trade those guys away and you're kind of screwed unless you think you're getting the guy who's going to be around for 5 or 6 years for you in the bigs, who's an extra piece to the puzzle. Brendan Donovan, maybe, yeah, he could be a Giant for a long time if the Giants do decide that they have enough and they want to give up enough to the Cardinals to trade for him. But again, when you're talking about you've got 4 or 5 good pieces and they want 4 of them, that's tough. When you're the Dodgers and somebody wants 4 or 5 good pieces and you've got 27, sure, you can make that deal. Not a big deal.
Is there a realistic move that you would like to see them make that would make you excited and happy? And it doesn't look like it's going to happen from the starting pitching perspective, by the way, because they could still add Scherzer. If the Scherzer market isn't fantastic, they could always bring him in later in the spring and just have him be ready, when they need him. But is there a position player move that is out there that you would be like, you know what? That was a really smart move. They're going for it. I'm excited.
Are we talking free agency and trade, or just
both? Yeah, both. I mean, there's stuff out there for, like you mentioned, the Donovan thing that's out there. Yeah. FP Santangelo keeps bringing up Nico Horner. I don't know how viable that is because he's a really good player. But what's like a realistic thing that's out there that would excite you?
I mean, you say realistic. I still think it's realistic if the Giants were to sign Kyle Tucker. And that's simply because the Giants have been trying to sign the big name for years. I mean, when you go back to Bryce Harper and Judge and trade for Giancarlo Stanton, everything that they've been trying to do, if they want to put the money out there for Kyle Tucker and go over the threshold, they could do it, and then they could have Kyle Tucker for many, many years. They were going to do that with Carlos Correa, and then but now you've got Devers, now you've got Chapman, you got Eldridge coming up. If you added Kyle Tucker to this lineup, I think you get a lot of fans excited that, hey, look at our pitching staff and look at our offense. We're going to win some 6-5 games. We're going to win some 7-5 games going down this 2026 season. But on a more realistic note,
like back to Tucker. If they sign Tucker, season tickets are going through the roof. Like that's what that would signify. But Zach Manasian has said, we don't want multiple guys at $25 million a year because that hurts your flexibility. And they have Chapman and they have Devers and they have Adames. So it doesn't sound like they are going to go that route. But that also that $25 million per year, the way that he said that, anybody who is worth a damn is going to make $25 million a year. But maybe they're comfortable signing that player to a 3-year deal. And that is, I think that's what the Dodgers are actually waiting for. I think they're waiting for the Tucker market to get a little cold and for Tucker's agent to go back to them and say, okay, we'll sign a shorter deal. What you got? And I think that's where the Dodgers are going to jump on it. And so I still hope that he signs a long-term deal. Go to the Blue Jays for all I care. Just stay away from LA.
And you're right. I mean, that's, I think a lot of people are waiting for that. Because again, salaries have blown up so much that when you're looking at, the 10-year $200 million deal, those don't exist anymore. Now you're at 10 years, 300. You're at 10 years, 350. I mean, you're looking at, Juan Soto's deal last year, topping out at 750, almost 800, with all of the incentives. And then you sign a guy like that and you still don't make the playoffs. So, I mean, what's, and I think that's the frustrating thing too. I think the Giants, again, we hear them every year. We're trying to get more athletic. We're trying to add guys to do more things on the base paths in the field. All right, Cody Bellinger. All right, Kyle Tucker. Those are the guys that can do that. Brendan Donovan upgrades your second base position if you can make the trade for him. What are the Cardinals asking for? He's a controllable guy for, I think, like 3 or 4 years. So, and so they're going to want a lot for him. But yeah, I don't, as a fan, I don't see a problem with having a bunch of guys under at 25 million, because again, look at the Giants were takers for Devers. If you need to get rid of somebody, you can get creative. You can get rid of that person. If you need to ship them off somewhere else, especially if you're going to ship them off to the Yankees and get some prospects, ship them off to Toronto and get some prospects, you can make it happen. So I don't think, if the Giants sign a Kyle Tucker and the experiment is terrible after 2 years and he doesn't have an opt out, but he's making 25 to 30 million a year, I think you can still move him. I think it's possible, but you got to take that chance. That's the thing, is being a Giants fan. There are some chances being taken. We saw with Devers, but then there's chances not being taken, as we saw with Imai. And we see almost every year with a lot of other players. So it is hard to watch from the outside, because then you see Devers and you go, we're going for it. This is great. Buster Posey's going for it. And then everything backs off for 6-7 months.
So I think Bellinger would kind of be the pie in the sky idea. I don't think that they're going to do that, by the way, but that would be kind of like oh my gosh, they are doing something here. More realistically, it could be something like Bader and Scherzer, and we're kind of done. Now, if they trade for a second baseman, that could be something. Like, I think I would be really excited about that, because if you look at and now let's talk about the two pitchers that they did sign, Houser and Mahle. They're sinker ballers. They are guys who historically you're going to have to build a rotation around the idea that they're going to just miss starts over the season.
Right.
And like you said,
that's always fun to hear. That's what you want to hear.
Well, I mean, you were the guy who said this, that really kind of opened my mind to it. Like 2 years ago, you were like, look, the thing is not about a 5-man rotation. It's really closer to like a 10-man rotation because of the way the injuries work.
And we've seen that's how the Dodgers have won the World Series the last 2 years, right?
Blake Tidwell is somebody who I think the Giants probably hope will be of some help in 2026. The whiz kid, Carson Wisenhunt, I think they probably hope that he will as well. And I mean, you really got to cross your fingers that Hayden Birdsong bounces back. But those are 3 guys at the back end of the rotation who are not going to be in the 5-man to start the season. You're talking Logan Webb. You're talking Robbie Ray. You're talking Landon Roop. And then these 2 guys who they signed. And then after that, that's why I hope there's a Scherzer out there. And Verlander hasn't been signed yet, right?
No, he's still looking.
Not saying that he's going to come back, but again, if that market is light for him and the Giants go, hey, dude, like, just come and hang out, and you don't even need to be ready until March or June, and we'll still pay you, a healthy sum. There's a Trevor McDonald who pitched well at the end of the season who the Giants may be able to turn to. So when you look at it from that perspective, if there are still arms coming, veteran arms who can help the young staff, I think that is pretty smart. And again, if they do trade for a second baseman, then it kind of makes some sense when you're putting together the sinker ball pitching starting rotation, because you have a really good third baseman, one of the best in the bigs. Your shortstop is not, from a range perspective, is not the best, but he's a dependable player. He plays every day. And Devers, if Devers is going to be your main first baseman, I think Devers is going to actually be pretty good defensively.
Yeah.
And then what is it at second base? If you do add a second baseman, then you're like that. Then it actually starts to make sense about what the Giants are trying to do. Even if Casey Schmidt has to play there for 100 games, at least defensively, he's going to be solid. He's not going to be probably, at least I don't think he'll be as sharp as he is at third because he's a third baseman, but at least he'll be solid. And then you can kind of figure it out as far as who to bring in and who to have be a left-handed bat to kind of platoon him with, or whatever they may do. But I do think there has to be some sort of movement and some sort of additions to where Giants fans go, I see the plan. I may not, it may not be splashy, but at least I understand it.
Mhm.
Right now, I don't see it at all. I really don't. It seems like they have a plan and they can't actually put the pieces together. There's a missing right fielder on this team, right? We don't really know who's going to be out there in right. And it's not like there's tons of players, on the footsteps in the outfield. All of their two best outfield prospects per MLB.com, Bo Davidson and Dakota Jordan, AA and single A ball. Like,
right. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, you're looking at 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, so it's
Rainer
still
Arias,
a way away.
Rookie ball.
Yeah.
So it's not like they have these guys who are just waiting to come up. Like, if you look at that the top 20 or no, the top 30, there is not an outfielder to be found who played at above A ball. So it's not going to come from those places. Now, maybe Fitzy, maybe he plays a little bit in the outfield, but we saw last year that he had lots of trouble with the strikeouts and stuff. So there aren't.
Drew Gilbert's not 150.
Yeah, he'd be a great platoon guy in right field. I think.
Yeah,
like if you have now, if Luis Matos was a more of a sure thing, maybe you could get away with it, but I'm not sure he is. We've seen him for 3 years now, and he has it. Does like you're not like what? If he's a little bit more consistent, he's the guy. It's been like he's kind of proven to us that he's not the guy. So that's
if
the other thing.
If your right field platoon combo combines for 15 home runs a season, they better be hitting 380.
Yeah,
because you need the guys on base, and especially if you got a right fielder, they're typically your power guys. You need a power outfielder. The Giants' biggest power right now is Elliot Ramos, and he's max 25 a year probably.
The Mike Yastrzemski profile would actually be a vast improvement over what they have right now. And how many people were trying to get him out of San Francisco over the years, right?
And he's going to be having a good time in Atlanta this hot summer.
Yeah. So the Giants also made some deals, actually not deals, and they had to move some guys around on the 40-man. Over the winter, they had grabbed Justin Dean, and they had also grabbed Joey Wiemer. And both outfielders, by the way, we were talking about they don't have outfield depth. And because of the additions of Mahle and Houser, they actually had to let those guys go, and those guys both got claimed. So they will not have either of those guys. Also, who got claimed, Wade Meckler. So he will not be on the Giants. He got claimed by the Angels today. And Marco Luciano, who was claimed by Pittsburgh and then let go, was then picked up again by the Orioles today. Yeah. So that's I think it's frustrating that somebody like him has been gone, but it just shows you that these guys who we're banking on, we're waiting for these guys to become big leaguers. It just doesn't always happen.
Right.
All right. So do you have any thoughts on whether or not this rotation, as it is built, where are the Giants competing? Now, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but I think they are clearly third behind the Dodgers and the Padres. And the Diamondbacks are going to be game. The Diamondbacks seem to fall out of it at the end of the season. And so I think the Giants are very close to the Diamondbacks right now. So 3 or 4. But how this thing is being built, I mean, could you see the Giants even getting into the top 2 in the NL West right now?
I mean, there'd have to be a collapse by the Padres. They are spending some money, but they're also trying to unload money because of their ownership situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that bringing back a fight for the 2 spot. As of this moment, I mean, you'd have to have Bryce Eldridge start the season on the big club and be on fire. You'd also have to have, which again is very very possible, but have the real Raffy Devers. We only got a half season of Raffy Devers, started off slow once he came over. A good full season of the real Willie Adames. Chapman's getting a little bit older, but still great defense at third base. Elliot Ramos, punch it up a notch. Patrick Bailey hit like he did the last month of the season, but for, every month of the season would be great. Jung-Hoo Lee, bump it up a little bit. I think this is, look at the rotation again. This is going to be a team that needs to score runs. So that's why I think if you're not going to put money into the rotation, you've got to put money into the lineup, which they have. I'm not knocking them. I mean, they have put money in the lineup, but you also have holes in the lineup. And so I think you need to cover those holes, and I think you need to spend money to do that. So in order to get to the, above the 3 spot in the National League West, I do think they need to spend a little bit more money. You can't do it with this lineup and this rotation, especially the bullpen. I mean, the bullpen, they are adding arms to the bullpen. But still, right now we have Ryan Walker as our closer. So that's, you got to look at that too.
We're going to get the think pieces on Ryan Walker's 2025 wasn't as bad as you think, and here's why.
Here's the baseball savant.
Yeah. That is not going to. Yeah, and look, he could bounce back. It's just we both believe that he is better in the 7th and the 8th innings than he is in the 9th. And same with Randy Rodriguez, who's going to probably miss the entire season. But the thing about Randy Rodriguez is he's younger, so he could actually kind of build into that closer role. And I don't sense that Walker is necessarily going to be the guy in the 9th inning against the Dodgers when you're fighting for a wild card, and he's just going to come in and just 3 straight strikeouts and pump his fist. It doesn't feel that way. But anyway, all right. A little bit of a shorter show today because, like I said, it is the quiet off season. But something's got to pick up with baseball with the free agent market because there's so many. All the top guys are still sitting out there, and the World Baseball Classic is on its way. So at least we'll have that to talk about. And spring training is not that far away, so there will be things to talk about. We'll be back depending on when something happens. Like if the Giants make some moves, we'll be back next week. If not, we'll just pick and choose because it is the off season and we have other shows going on. Like I said, the We Want Winners has been the show that has been carrying us through this holiday season. And Rod and I will be back Sunday after the Niners and the Eagles. And then I think Brian and I will be back this week for Golden State Hoop. We'll see. Not 100% sure. But the Warriors are essentially the 2025 Giants. They win one and then they lose one, and then they win one and then they lose one. So I'm hopeful that they'll start picking it up, and then the WNBA is still in a off-season struggle with their Players Association and the league, and they have to do the collective bargaining agreement. So
are they on a strike right now or lockout?
It's not
or anything
technically
like that,
a strike. Okay. They set a deadline for the CBA to be done, and they've pushed back the deadline 2 times.
Okay.
And the Players Association said, we are not afraid of a lockout, and if it has to be, it has to be. But they have this cool little league called Unrivaled, which is a players driven league. Like a lot of the players actually have equity in the league, and it's a 3-on-3 league where a lot of the WNBA stars are actually playing. So and they actually make the players who play there actually make more money than they do in the WNBA. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, so they have these other things that they can do, and so it's not like they are. And I don't know how many players there may be. Some players living paycheck to paycheck actually, so they may be struggling. But there are other opportunities for them. So hopefully the deal gets done though, because the WNBA doesn't need a pause in the schedule because they're actually pretty hot right now. But anyway, all right, Brad and I will be back at some point, and hopefully. I hope it's next week, because then that will mean that something happens. But if not, we'll take our time.
Or earlier, because something big happened. So
you know what? I do have something for old guy Allie. I was doing some kettlebells the other day on Tuesday.
That's all we need to hear.
I think. Because my knees are bad, so sometimes I have to remind myself to just go slow and bend at the knees, but sometimes I forget, and so I bent down to put the kettlebells down, and I got the worst back spasms I've ever had.
And those are the worst. Those are the worst. When you're putting a weight down or picking a weight up, and it happens, and you're like, "I'm just trying to get healthy."
I was on the ground, like, so I was at the gym, right? And there's a healthy amount of people there, and so I'm on all fours. I'm not trying to make any noises. I'm not trying to show anybody that I'm in some of the worst pain that I've ever been in from any injury, really. And so I spend about, I'd say, 10 to 15 minutes just trying to get to my feet. That's how bad these back spasms are.
Oh, no.
And so I'm just like, just trying. Finally, I get to my feet, but I have to hold on to something. Like, I can't just be independently on my feet. I have to like grab hold of the equipment. And so finally, like I text Crystal, because I'd walked to the gym, and I was like, "You're gonna have to pick me up." And I'm like, "But don't come now, because I still cannot physically walk. Like, I'll call you back when I'm ready."
Yeah.
It was like a half an hour to where I could hobble out of this gym. And so this was last Tuesday. We're recording this on Wednesday. So it's been 8 days, and I am still not like, I can walk but my lower back is still in a decent amount of pain.
Yeah. And that's usually because of how strong the spasms are. Then you just get very, very sore muscles afterwards. And it lasts for a long time, man.
Yeah, I tried yesterday. I was like, okay, let me see if I can actually do my workout, but I'll just do it as light as humanly possible. And I got through it, but I was like, okay, I still need like several more days until I'll be ready. But that was not fun, because I was like, I'm ready to go. Like, all the holidays were pretty much over. All the bad eating, like, let's go. We're back in charge. And my back was like, nope, you are not back in charge.
And then it sets you back for a while. I've got one, but I don't know if it's necessarily old guy, and that's why it happened. But today I did my 40 minutes of HIIT, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get totally done. During that 40 minutes of HIIT, there were a lot of burpees. I mean, an extra amount of burpees.
Nothing gets your heart rate going faster than burpees.
Oh, yeah. And these are like modified burpees. So you go down, do a burpee, then you do a push-up, then you come back up, jump, and then you do that over and over and over again. So when I'm done with this 40 minutes, I stand up, grab my water, take a couple swigs, start walking, and I go, "Oh, my nose is running. That's really, really weird." Blood gusher.
Oh, man.
Firing out of the nose. And I go, "What the hell is this?" And the only thing I could think of is because it gets so dry here. And it's during the winter, and we're inside the house. It's, Like it was 40 degrees outside right now. So we got the heater running all day long. I'm inside the house working. And then I'm doing these burpees where I'm up and down, up and down, up and down, and the pressure going to my head and my sinuses. And that's what caused it. Good 10 minutes of plugging it, out of my head down, finally got rid of it. And I get one of those like maybe once a year. And hell of a time for it. I've gotten one driving before. That was always fun.
Yeah. The nose that just starts bleeding for no reason. You kind of wonder. You immediately go, this is bad. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, oh no, it's just random.
Do I have to go get it cauterized? Like,
yeah. Well, I'm hoping for both of us that we don't have any more exercise-related injuries or issues.
That'd be nice.
Just let us live our life, man.
Yeah,
we're trying to be good. We're trying to be healthy. We're trying to work out. Man. All right. That is it from here. For Brad, I am Double G. We will see you when we see you. Peace out.
Peace.